what? Talk me through it. Davenport, what's going on?
Okay, so it was 2 days ago. Actually, it might have even been 3. It was 2 to 3 days ago. There was like 8 units on duty. There was 3 of us that responded. Well, actually, no, we were in the first. There was 2 incidents. Well, there was 3 actually. The first one, Hydra was sent to jail. They were gunned down on Mirror Park Boulevard near the old casino. There was myself, Maple, I think Abdul, and Ricky that responded to that. There may have been one other. I don't recall. Anyway, they got charged with GRS. They had nothing on them because they were robbed.
Command report.
I was sent to prison. Approximately an hour or so, or an hour and a half later, there was another situation. We were in the middle of chasing. I can't actually remember what we were chasing.
Read the threads. Look, I don't care about the threads, dude. I don't care.
We drove past where there was active gunfire.
We have to deal with this.
Alta Street. Our chase went on for another 40 minutes or something after that, or 30 minutes. And then when that was finished, the people were still on scene. When I pulled up on Alta Street, there was 2 people down, and they were actively robbing them. So I told them to put their guns away and leave, blah, blah, blah. They kept robbing them, and then they ended up leaving the area. I asked on radio. Everyone said we couldn't respond in the first place. And I agreed with this. Is if we couldn't respond when we first seen it 30 minutes prior, I don't see why we would come in now and just clean up like 30 minutes later and arrest them. They'd been robbed, as it was seen. Everyone else on the radio agreed. Maple was there and agreed too. So we basically picked them up, took them down because there was no EMS on duty, dropped them off at the hospital. And that's it. Then there was a third incident that happened a couple of hours after that on Popular Street, just up here from Vespucci. There was still only, I think it was actually a little less then. It was like 6 or 7 units on duty. The original shots came out on our rancho, and I was going to be in the area there just to see, to get overlook of it or whatever. We didn't have the units to respond. No one was answering the radio.
Damn it.
There was only one other that had come with me, which was Ramona. And then Ricky attached after that. We seen cars flying northbound on Popular. One of them crashed out or whatever. They ended up shooting there, blah, 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 blah. And then all the cars took off after the shooting had finished and had gone. So we're like, oh, we'll move into these people and at least give them medicals. There's no medical around. And we'd asked for 77s like 4 or 5 times on the radio, and it was just dead silence.
Okay.
So I'm like, well, I know about you guys, but I'm not really interested in getting shot or anything over this. So I'm just going to patch them up so they don't bleed out. And then when we were standing there, Ramona turned up with one that she'd picked up from somewhere across the road. Ricky turned up with one that he'd got off our rancho. I'd already provided first aid to the guy I had and put him in the car. And Ricky got on radio and said, we're not, I think DuPont had actually called out to speak to you, and you were talking to someone or you were in a meeting, King. We waited probably, I don't know how long it was. It wasn't very long. It was probably 3, 4, 5 minutes or something. And there was still no response. Ricky got on radio to DuPont and said, we're just going to get the medical. We're not going to just sit here all day. And that is when I said, okay, well, I'm loading my up. We're going to take him to CMC, just get a medical. There's no EMS on duty. So we just loaded him off, dropped him off at CMC, and then went about our day.
We didn't search anyone?
No.
Why not?
Because, well, I'll be honest, I didn't even think to search them. But I don't think any of the others that were there were searched either. But
yeah, I mean,
at that point, we were just acting like EMS
searched.
because there was no EMS there.
Yeah, I get that. But they should absolutely have been searched for sure. Whether that means they just get searched and their illegal shit gets taken, that's fine. I don't really have an issue, especially if you're lacking units. Daisy, correct me if I'm saying anything dumb here, please.
Okay.
I don't have an issue with you if you have low units and stuff and you can't necessarily, you don't want to get shot over it. I get that. But if we're taking them to hospital, we should absolutely be searching them. And if they have illegal stuff, you make the decision whether to take that illegal stuff or you might need to charge them for it. But my recommendation with gang war stuff is to endeavor to always charge everybody if we can prove it. Which I get, it sucks. They've been on the ground for half an hour, but at the end of the day, these guys are all in a gang war together. Sorry, Viv, you carry on.
No, it's okay. I went to court over this exact thing. It was like 2 years ago. There was it was a gang-related shooting, although at the time it wasn't established gangs. There was a shooting down in the south side, and we had one of the suspects incapacitated, and he was going to hospital. He was GSR negative, but I frisked him and I felt something, so I searched him and found a weapon. I was taken to court because they were arguing that it was illegal of me to do so, but it was actually found that I was well within the legal rights of doing that because of getting them medical. So it is like legally all backed up and everything to be able to do that.
I'm really glad you said that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Always, yeah, we have to do that. I understand, like I say, I get it. They may have been down for half an hour, but frankly, I don't care very much. They're in this, there's a massive war on between multiple groups or one group and multiple others. I don't think we should be nice to them. I don't think we should be lenient with them. They're turning our city into a war zone. So the less we do in terms of, you know, our job and sending them to prison, taking stuff, etc., the easier it is for these guys to make this city a fucking war zone. Everybody on that?
Yeah, if you look at report 38715, there's been 28 different incidents.
Is this double-sided with how cops are forced to be
Brian
down?
Parker has put in here
completely
over the last
irrelevant in
couple
this
of
discussion. That's nothing to do with it.
So it's pretty much out of hand at this point, and we need to try to stop it.
It is out of hand. Very much. And it's not going to get any better unless we get in there and start being heavy-handed. I understand we can't necessarily always do that because of unit numbers, especially in shift 3, end of shift 3, and then bits into shift 1. But when we get those numbers around, we should absolutely be challenging them and shooting them if they do not comply. I am not the kind of person that likes to sit, warn people that I'm going to shoot them, and then they ignore me. If someone ignores me, I'm shooting them.
Yeah, that's something that Frost has let us know in the BCSO, that there's no warning, just put your guns away or else. Like, there has to be a follow-through.
I do want to chime in on this one. I do think I agree with that take 100% because I feel like terrible when we tell criminals to put their guns away.
It's not that it's been dragged out. I think the war's been fantastic. It's been one of the best RP wars I've seen today.
Because like then criminals in their minds, it's like, well, if I put my gun away, I'm just going to get shot by the other criminals that are trying to kill me, and you aren't going to do anything. So next time I'm just not going to listen to you.
Yeah, so I mean, they'll learn very quick that not listening to us is a bad idea. Whether that means that they get shot at, we get shot at, whatever, we need to put ourselves in harm's way sometimes for the better of the city and the citizens in it. If we don't do that, they run rampant. You know, we've had shootouts at Legion Square, Senor Barnes, countless other places that are north of the south side. We should not be giving these guys any quarter. And that should extend into charging them as well. Now, obviously, we have done today with the besties. I take responsibility for that, for the things that they were saying, to try and smooth things over a little bit so we can at least give them a bit of time off, tell them we're going to fix the situation. But from this point, everybody should be getting full time, no reduction, etc.
I'll be real with you. Like, if it happens in shift 3 and no one answers the radio, like they went the other day, and it's been bad for like 3 or 4 days now, with people just fucking ignoring 77 requests,
it is bad.
I'm just not even going to respond to it. They can just lay there. And
that's that's fine.
I won't go to any of the gang wars.
I get it.
Yeah, I'm with Davenport on that. 100%.
I think what we need to do is we collectively need to be better at finding where people are, especially when they're not responding. I mean, I'm definitely guilty of being in meetings. I try and mark myself 10-7 or 10-6, depending on what's going on. But I guarantee you I forget to do that sometimes, more than likely. So I'm definitely part of that issue. I think we just need to be better at holding each other accountable for that. I know, Viv, you've definitely had situations where you've been screaming for 77s. I've had situations where I've been screaming for 77. Daisy has. I'm pretty sure everyone in this room has had that problem. So we really need to try and collectively solve that and be as proactive as we can with making sure people are responding. But even if you guys aren't, I don't care if you aren't seniors and this doesn't matter. If you notice people that just aren't responding to stuff, not listening to radio, question them. Doesn't matter what rank you are, question them. Find out what they're doing. Why aren't they responding to a call? Are you busy, etc. If they're busy, I get it. Fine.
Also, the final thing I have on this point is if we're not doing GRS reductions, which I am on board with, like I actually agree with that 100%. Are you talking within the DENAC, so guilty plea up to 25% max, and that's the standard, or so guilty plea is just 25% off, but it can't go any further?
We don't have to give those reductions. Like it's not.
I know.
We have to give them. I don't
we
think
were told
we should.
Yesterday we do.
By who?
No, we don't.
Who said that?
Apparently, it's in legislation that we have to give it. And
I'll
that was
double
what we
check
were
that.
told by...
I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't say that. I think it's still an option.
It's negotiated.
I'm trying to think who said it. It was said in a meeting.
It gives us discretion. It specifically lists discretion in the
If the
legislation.
discretion is there, then our discretion should be no time off for gang-related shooting. That should be a department-wide policy. Sorry, that should be a PD-wide policy, both BCSO and LSPD, which I'll push for in command reports very shortly.
Okay, so I do have a point on this because I know that most of the problems of the GRS stuff stem from low units, and that tends to be a late shift 3, early shift 1 problem.
Yeah.
But I have been awake in shift 2, and I do want it brought up then. If we're setting the standard for the entire department, I've seen some crazy reductions in shift 2, like over 80%.
By who?
For what reasoning?
They're always command approved. The last one that I was privy to, I don't want to air it. This is the type of thing I'll tell Daisy, and she can probably bring it up like with you directly, King. But they were all command approved. So it's like it's not like it hasn't gone through the proper channels. It wasn't done by like deputies.
If it's something that's commander approved, I'm not too bothered about it. I think there's some things where we won't be consistent, but the gang related stuff, especially with the besties World War shit, we should absolutely be consistent with every single group involved during that. That's a big thing for sure. And I think just gang related shooting in general, we just shouldn't reduce that time. We just shouldn't.
I think we can probably do the reductions on like the other charges that are additional to the gang related, but the actual gang related, no, it's just they're always going to get a max or minimum of 120 because that's what gang related is.
I think for any gang related scene, we should just say no reductions across the board, just to make it simple. That's my stance on it. I'm happy if you go a different way. It's just
I don't disagree with that. The other way leaves it very open for people to be like, well, I mean, you could do this instead. So I'd rather just suggest something where people have to be consistent.
I tried to call Rhodes, but he didn't answer. I think
he was probably
in a meeting.
Yeah, so he's busy. But we should get with him, Daisy, for sure, and Davenport, and try and get this as a standard. For now, guys, we're pushing this as an expectation. As long as you're okay with this, Daisy, in this shift, especially with this particular war, whether it's besties Hydra, besties Habibis, besties fucking, I don't know, whatever, there should be never any time reductions for that. Is everybody on board?
Yeah, I'm fine for that. If that's the standard, as long as the standard's across the PD entirely, then I'm on board.
I can't guarantee you it's going to be across the PD entirely, but that's what we're going to push.
Yeah, as long as it's attempted.
The only way it's going to be able to be sort of equal across the board is if you set that example. Right? If we do our bit, at least we're doing our bit.
Okay, I put an announcement out. Just at the moment across the board, no time off for any gang-related shootings. And then I will have a talk with Rhodes and Frost and whoever else in High Command is around.
Okay.
Were you at the meeting yesterday, Breakaway, when they said about the stuff? Because that person needs to know. Because I can't remember who it is, to be honest.
I'm generally not on duty enough for the shift 3 meetings, unfortunately.
I forget who
it is. The Den Act 100% is a discretion thing.
Yeah, because without the Den Act, we can't.
I hate it.
Yes. Without it, we can't give any time off, period. So it gives discretion, but it's all under them engaging in good faith with us and with whatever.
One outfit, yeah, buddy.
So if somebody's just like, no, I want my discount code for calling a lawyer, then that's not really a good faith. So we're not obligated to.
You mean just like I did now?
Just to read it out for everyone in the room so we're all on the same page, the Den Act reads, if a citizen chooses to plead guilty to their charges, they may receive up to a 25% reduction of time that can be negotiated with the processing officer. So in that is built-in discretion.
Yeah, so we don't even have to give them the full 25%.
You don't have to give them anything, technically. I mean, so you can choose to make GRS like a blanket, like full fine time every time. It just gives you the option they'll PD the option to do that.
Actually, Ricky might have been at the meeting yesterday and heard that. I'll ask him when he comes around.
The only
I
time
can't remember who said it though.
I'm pretty sure the only time that we have to give off is
I'm at. Okay.
If they're in good faith negotiations, then we give time off for
martial
1 minute
roll might reduce your perms. Nah, it doesn't.
Yeah,
that's the stuff that
it also says may take 1 month off for each minute.
Yeah. It does. They allow a lot of leniency.
The literally stands for discretionary.
But for our side, not the criminals.
I thought as much. Okay,
yeah, when Angel wrote this, it was technically illegal to give any time off. So this gave a lot of discretion with like stops where we could only give a maximum of 50%.
All right. Any questions, guys, before I send everybody out of here? As long as you're okay with that, Daisy.
Yeah, that's fine.
What should we do in shift 3 then? Because numbers were really good for weeks, and now they're kind of not even there.
Oh,
I think we just don't respond if we don't have the numbers to process it properly.
Yeah, I don't want to reduce you guys to doing janitorial work, frankly.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people won't stay on duty if they're just being janitors.
Yep. I hate that shit too. I can't stand it, so I can't force anyone else to do it. I think
so. It's either you don't respond, in my opinion, or if you do, then everyone is getting the full process.
Yeah,
like they're getting searched, GSR, everything.
I'm with Daisy for sure. I know
Moving
it's not
forward,
easy.
I'm going to ask if there's units to respond. If they don't answer me, I'm just not going anywhere.
You should send them off duty if they're not responding.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at. If you're asking for 77s and there's people just not responding, and then when you ask them where they've been, they just say, "Oh, I was off radio." Send them off duty. They're literally useless. People need to get the message. When they're on duty,
90% of the time they're doing something else. But...
And if there's an excuse why they're busy, then fine. But they need to make people aware of that so that we're not just like calling for 77s into the nothingness and no one's coming. You know. But yeah. I'm getting a command report up. Command members, please feel free to add in whatever you want. I'm making sure that everybody's welcome to post in that with details. Yeah, that's all we can really do. So let's sharpen up the consistency stuff. Shift 3, if you go, do everything. If you don't go, don't do anything. That's really kind of where you guys have to sit. I'll make sure that's in the command report as well, so everybody understands that that is just something you guys have to deal with just because of numbers.
We apply the Darwin principle. Let them kill each other.
Yeah.
Hopefully we have the units to not just let them kill each other, but if we don't have the units, then yeah, you kind of just let them go at it.
And when we do have numbers, I expect the full force of the big dick of the law to go in and stop them. That is what I expect. Unless we're busy with something already, then I can understand. But if they're shooting at Senor Buns or in Legion Square, for example, I would prefer to just drop whatever boost or bank are on, because that's no longer a threat. And people shooting class 2s in the middle of the city definitely is more of a threat. So
yeah, any high traffic areas, if whatever hostage has already been secured off of the original call, we should just break off and respond to the shooting that's happening.
Yeah. We've had enough of this stuff where people are getting GSR'd, being found GSR negative, but they're involved in a shooting and in the gang that we know and has been documented in, that we know has been in active wars with other people. There's way too much of that going on. If we have all the information we do, which with all the besties and the other gangs involved, we definitely do have that information. Everybody should be getting charged every single time.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's not going to end. We're not getting any guns off the streets, really. We're not doing anything. We're just letting them continue, and it gets worse and worse and worse. And if we don't apply any pressure, it's not going to end. So we have to apply pressure too. As much as that is going to be painful for some officers to deal with, I get, not everybody wants to deal with that, but we do have to do something. And if it's, happening in, Senor Buns example is happening right now, and then there was one at Legion Square earlier today. That's what we responded to. We just can't have that happening. Today, I gave the besties a decent reduction to try and smooth things over a little bit because they were super unhappy. But that's not going to be happening again. So, and I think they understand that. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah.